What up, y'all? It's your boy, Steez.
Who?
I'm back here again with another video. Hey, yo, I had a question for y'all. Y'all remember when 50 Cent took over the whole entire rap game? Nigga, please say yes, I don't feel old. Now look, this is just my opinion, but I think 50 Cent had one of the best runs of all time. And in today's video, I'ma explain why I believe that. Now, if you a young nigga or some lame ass, square ass nigga, or you just somebody that's never seen Power and you don't know who 50 Cent is, don't worry, nigga, I got you covered. 50 Cent is an American born rapper slash actor slash TV producer slash nut ass freak boy slash evil ass nigga who's funny as hell. 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, was born in South Jamaica, Queens, and he was raised by his mother, Sabrina Jackson. Sabrina gave birth to 50 when she was only 15 years old, and due to hard times, she turned to the life of crime and drug dealing. Now, if you know anything about 50 Cent, you know he has a reputation of being a tough guy and not being scared of nobody. I mean, the nigga got shot 9 times and he survived. I wouldn't be scared of nobody either, nigga. But one of the reasons why 50 is so tough is due to his mother, Sabrina. And according to 50, Sabrina wasn't no joke, because if you a fan of Raising Kanan, then you're familiar with the opening scene to the first episode. Because in that opening scene, you see Kanan getting beat up by a bunch of bullies, and then you see him go home and tell his mom. His mom put some batteries in a tube sock, tied it up, and gave it to him, and made him go up there and beat that nigga ass. Now, believe it or not, that's actually based on a real life situation between 50 and his mom. His mom actually really did do that after he was getting bullied in school.
That nigga ass for real, oh dang.
So yeah, as y'all can see, 50's mom was real cold, but despite all of that, 50 had a deep love for his mom. Unfortunately though, 50's mom passed away due to a fire. 50 was only 8 years old when he lost his mother. However, a lot of people don't think that her death was an accident, and people think that it might have been retaliation from a rival drug dealer. Due to the unfortunate passing of 50's mother, he moved in with his grandparents, and at the age of 11 years old, he started boxing. Now, like most kids who grew up in the streets, he started to take notice of the drug dealers. He saw the chains, he saw the whips, and at that moment he knew he wanted a piece of that lifestyle. And at a young age, 50 eventually got into the drug game. 50 was mentored by Black Just, who was a member of the Supreme Team. Now, if you don't know who the Supreme Team was, there was an organized crime syndicate who were pretty much running the streets of New York in the 80s. It was ran by Kenneth Supreme McGriff and his nephew Gerald Prince Miller. And 50 knew Black Just because Black Just was financing 50's boxing program. 50 would begin selling drugs throughout his whole entire teenage year, and he also would be in and out of prison. Eventually, 50 started rapping and would be freestyling over instrumentals at his friend's house and was starting to get good at it. One day in '96, his friend introduced him to Jam Master Jay at a club. Now, if your ass don't know who Jam Master Jay is, he was a DJ for the legendary group Run DMC. 50 gave him a demo tape that he made, and when Jam Master Jay heard it, he was real impressed by his skills and how real he was. After listening to his demo tape, he signed up to his record label, Jam Master Jay Records. Shortly after this is when he adopted the nickname 50 Cent, which was a metaphor for change, and was also inspired by a Brooklyn robber named Kelvin Martin. Despite all this good luck coming 50's way, things were a little bit stagnant in 50's career. He was getting frustrated with Jam Master Jay, because I guess he felt like Jay wasn't paying him that much attention. 50 left Jam Master Jay Records and managed to get signed to Columbia Records. After he joined Columbia Records, he drops an EP called Power of the Dollar. Now, this was supposed to be a full-blown album, but it never dropped. Well, it never dropped officially. The album did get leaked and niggas was bootlegging it. If you want to listen to it, you can go on YouTube and check it out. It's a pretty solid album, and it also got some controversial songs on here too. One of the most controversial songs on the album is How to Rob. Now, nigga, check this out. This is one of my favorite songs by 50. Now, if you aren't familiar with this song and you don't know what it's about, it's basically about 50 robbing a lot of famous celebrities in black culture. And honestly, the song is hilarious. Now, some of the people that he mentioned in the song are Jay-Z, Big Pun, DMX, Jermaine Dupri, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett. The nigga even mentioned R. Kelly and Diddy. Some people say that this song was paying homage to Kelvin Martin, because remember I said 50 Cent got his name from him. He was a famous robber in the 80s. So if the concept of this song is paying homage to him, that's pretty genius. Now, the song did grow a lot in popularity. It was also featured in the 1999 film Into Deep, starring Omar Epps with them ugly ass dreads. Hold on, that sounded anti-black, my bad.
Boot licking, buck dancing nigga.
And LL Cool J's creepy ass.
Are you real good with your tongue?
Hey yo, nut ass freak bull. So yeah, as you can see, the song is getting popular. It was featured in a movie with 2 big stars, and since it was growing in popularity, that means a lot of the people that 50 mentioned also heard the song too. And as you can imagine, not everybody was too pleased to hear their name on the song. Several of the people that 50 mentioned responded to it, and one of the artists that responded is Jay-Z. On Jay-Z's album Volume 3, he He responded to the line on the track called It's Hot and fired back with a line dissing.
Go against Jigga, your ass is dense. I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 cents?
But according to 50, Hov actually liked the song and even asked for permission to respond back. And around this time, Hov was big, so having one of the biggest rappers in the game, along with other big artists and legends, take notice of you and respond back to you is kind of crazy. And it was a smart move on 50's part. Now listen, there's 2 more songs that I think is worth mentioning. And y'all niggas already know. If I'm going to talk about 50's career, I gotta mention Ja Rule. Because the beef between both of them is impossible to ignore. And believe it or not, their beef plays a huge role into these songs I'm about to mention. Now listen, I'm not gonna go through the whole timeline of their beef, cause like I mentioned, these niggas got a long history with each other. These niggas been beefing since the civil rights movement. I ain't talking about all that, but instead I'll give y'all a quick rundown on the beef between them two and explain how it relates to these songs. Now if y'all don't know who Ja Rule is, I ain't even gonna get mad at you. That nigga really did fall off. But Ja Rule is a rapper from Queens, New York, just like 50, and just like 50, he was selling drugs in New York. Him and his freaky ass boss Irv Gotti formed a relationship with Supreme, and around this time Preem was out of prison and he wanted to go legit. So just like that, Preem became heavily affiliated with Ja Rule and his label Murder Inc. Preem became business partners with Irv Gotti, and he also provided safety and protection for them in the streets. Now that we got all that out the way, I'm going to explain the beef between 50 and Ja. See, look, back in 99, Ja got robbed for his chain by some nigga named Troy. Troy robbed him because he believed Ja slept with his girl while he was locked up. Now Ja denied that he slept with his girl, but he ended up giving the chain anyway, cause I mean the nigga had a gun in his face. After that, Ja Rule went to Preem and told him about it, and Preem got his chain back within half an hour. Now eventually, Ja would shoot his music video for his song Murder for Life in Jamaica Avenue, and 50 came up there to say what's up to him. Now it was a little weird when 50 came up because everybody there was showing Ja Rule love, and when 50 came there it was like he was an outsider, I guess. But Ja said what's up to him, and the both of them kept it pushing. Now the both of them would bump into each other at a club. Now once again 50 said what's up to him, but Ja brushed him off and ignored him, and 50 took that as disrespect. Now you might be asking, why did Ja do that? And the reason why he did that is because 50 had Troy with him. Now 50 was friends with Troy and had nothing to do with the robbery, but I guess Ja Rule didn't see it that way and probably assumed that 50 was in on it, so he brushed him off. Now according to Ja, that's not how the beef started. Ja and Irv pretty much say that the beef started because 50 was hating on Ja, and he was hating on him because of all the love he was getting in Queens. But honestly, nigga, I don't know, it don't even matter.
Who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this?
50 made 2 controversial songs, and one of the songs was Life on the Line. Now there's 2 versions of this song, and in the original version, 50 was dissing Ja in the first verse, and he was mocking them for getting robbed. So I mean, it's clear as day that these niggas hate each other. Preem took notice of this, and he wanted it to end. Now 50's manager Chaslin Williams stepped in and tried to get both of them to have a sit down so they could squash everything, but things turned left and them niggas ended up scrapping. 50 managed to steal Ja's chain and run off with it, and then shortly after that, he started filming the video for Lights on the Line. And in that video, this nigga was wearing Ja's chain. That nigga petty as shit. So I mean, obviously, things is getting real heated between 50 and Ja, and eventually, Preem had to step in and tell 50 to chill out. But y'all know 50, y'all know damn well he ain't gonna chill out. Now there's another incident where these niggas got in a fight again. Now one day at the Hit Factory, Ja Rule and his camp and 50 and his camp were coincidentally in the same building for a studio session. They were in separate rooms, but Ja ended up finding out that 50 was in the building. After he found that out, he sent Irv and them to go beat his ass. Now mind you, they don't know what room 50 is in, so they walk around the building like they in a maze with they dumb ass. But eventually they found him. 50 was caught by surprise, and somebody shut the lights off, and then niggas started fighting. Black Child, who's a part of Ja Rule's camp, took out a knife and started stabbing everybody in the room, including the DJ who was with 50. Now after the scuffle, the DJ reported this incident to the police, and the court issued a restraining order against them. Unfortunately, this made Preem and Ja Rule believe that 50 was cooperating with the police. Shortly after that, they started labeling 50 a snitch, and we all know that's the last thing you want to be labeled if you in the streets. So because of all of that, things was getting real tense between 50 and Preem, and also Preem got shot at by some unknown shooter, and it made him believe that it had something to do with 50. Now Preem and 50 did have a lot of issues that I didn't mention in this video. I'm gonna mention all of that in the future video. Things took an even bigger turn when 50 dropped his controversial ass song Ghetto Quran, and Ghetto Quran is one of the things that led up to this nigga getting shot 9 times. I ain't even gonna lie. Within the song, 50 mentions Preem, Prince, and other hustlers from the streets in Queens. Now this was really pissing Preem off because 50 was already getting on his nerves. He was already getting seen as a snitch snitched by a lot of people. And here he goes mentioning not only Preem, but other hustlers in the streets. Now 50 didn't make this song with any bad intentions. He just made it as a way to pay homage to all the people that he looked up to in the streets. Now Preem was getting pissed off because law enforcement was on his ass and they were holding on to that song and was trying to use it against him. Now they was questioning 50 about the song, but he would just brush him off and tell him to go listen to the lyrics. Him saying that really pissed Preem off, because when he said that, Preem pretty much looked at it as him saying to listen to the lyrics as evidence. Now we all know 50 is an asshole, and that didn't help him out too much in this situation either, because during this time 50 was constantly taunting Supreme and Murder Inc. Supreme started to look at 50 as a problem, so Preem put a hit out on 50 and he hired this nigga named Homo. Now Homo wasn't just known in the streets for having his tragic ass hairline, he was also Mike Tyson's bodyguard. So yeah, Preem hired Homo, and y'all already know the rest. This nigga got shot 9 times in front of his grandma's house. Now most niggas would not survive getting shot 9 times, but 50's grandma must have been praying that night, cause that nigga survived. And as you can imagine, it took a while for this nigga to bounce back, cause they lit his ass up. Now 50 got shot in the mouth and the bullet entered his tongue, and that would mess up the way he would talk and rap. And to make things worse, Columbia Records ended up dropping his ass due to the whole entire situation in the streets. So if you wonder why Power of the Dollar never dropped, that's why. Now most niggas would give up in this situation. Shit nigga, I would. If I got dropped from my label and a bullet entered my mouth and it messed up the way I could talk and rap, I would have looked at that as a sign from God telling me to sit my stupid ass down. Nigga, I would have got a CDL that year. But 50 ain't look at it that way. 50 kept grinding, and despite getting shot in the mouth, he kept on rapping and developed his own unique sound. And then he soon dropped his legendary mixtape, Guess Who's Back. Nigga, this mixtape is a classic. 50 definitely showed raw talent and hunger on this project. And as you can imagine, 50's reputation started to skyrocket. And this mixtape also helped mold the reputation that he had of being a tough guy. And I mean, that shouldn't be hard to believe. This nigga got shot 9 times and survived. And he was still talking shit, because he ended up putting Lights on the Line and Ghetto Quran on his project. And he dropped another song on there called F You, where he blatantly mentions Preem once again, pretty much showing the nigga that he ain't scared of him. So as you can imagine, this project was growing a lot in popularity. Now 50 has a line on F You where he says, when I drop, I'ma sell like Eminem and Kid Rock. And the crazy part is, this mixtape got so popular that it actually caught Eminem's attention. M loved the project so much that he reached out to 50 and ended up setting up a meeting between him and Dr. Dre. 50 ended up signing a $1 million contract under Shady Records, which was underneath Aftermath Records by Dr. Dre. And then shortly after that, he dropped a mixtape with his group G Unit, and the mixtape was called No Mercy, No Fear. Now this mixtape was made to pretty much build hype around 50 and build hype around his upcoming album. Alright, check this out. One mandatory thing that I had to bring up in this video is 50 Cent's mixtape run. Because if you wasn't around to see it or witness it, you would have no idea why it's so legendary. Because 50 pretty much changed the whole entire mixtape game as a whole. Because see, before Eminem signed him, he knew he had to start rapping his ass off. And he knew he had to outdo and outwork everybody. Not to mention his arch nemesis Ja Rule was starting to grow in popularity and fame. And you know he hate that nigga too much to let that happen. 50 would start hopping on other rappers' beats and rapping over them, killing them, and will be doing better than the niggas that made the original song. Now if you somebody who's been listening to rap music for a very long time, and if you somebody who's like me, who grew up through the blog era of hip hop, then that's just something that you would normally see somebody do, and it may not sound that shocking to you. However, we talking about back in the day, and at that time when 50 was doing it, it was considered completely unheard of. When No Mercy, No Fear dropped, this really shook up the hip hop world. And not only that, but it would create a blueprint for how other rappers would release their mixtape. Cause we all know Wayne is infamous for hopping on people's tracks and rapping better than they did on the original song. Well, without 50, we probably wouldn't have a classic mixtape like No Ceilings out. Now some people might not understand how crazy this is. 50 went from being a rapper that almost didn't make it, cause he got dropped from his label, he got shot, his injuries changed the way he talked and rapped, and then he gets signed by Eminem and Dr. Dre. It was pretty much no way for this nigga to fail at this point. With all the hype that was surrounding 50's name, people started to ask the question, can he deliver? And the answer is, hell yeah, nigga, what kind of question is that? On February 6th in 2003, 50 Cent dropped his debut studio album, Get Rich or Die Tryin. And nigga, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I think this one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time, like dead ass. This album was groundbreaking for its time. 50 was able to show off his charisma, his skill, his realness, and his versatility. Now nigga, 50 got some important songs on this album, and one of them songs is 21 Questions. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I think this one one of the most game-changing songs in the culture. And I mean, think about it. Around this time, everybody sees 50 as this swole-ass, gangsta-ass nigga. Because take Many Men, for example. In that song, 50 raps about his real-life situation, where he basically had the streets after him, and he mentions when he got shot 9 times, and mentions the nigga that shot him. Or take his song Heat, for example. This nigga was literally rapping over the sound of a gun cocking and shooting. Now, I'm not acting like 50 is the first nigga to make a love song. I'm just saying, with 50's reputation, it's just something that I don't think some people were expecting. So imagine how thrown off niggas was when they heard this nigga drop 21 Questions, a love song that samples Barry White and got Nate Dogg singing on the hook, and got Megan Good's fine ass in the music video. Having a song like this is a bold move on 50's part, and some people were against the idea of him making a song like that. One of them niggas is Dr. Dre. He didn't really think it was a good idea for 50 to make a song for the hoes. But real talk, I'm glad 50 didn't listen to him. I mean, Dre don't got a good history with women. I wouldn't expect him to understand. But nah, real talk though. 50 insisted on this song being on Get Rich or Die Tryin', and it was one of the best decisions he could ever make, because the song peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the song even did good internationally. I also think that this song made his beef with Ja Rule a little bit more interesting, because at this time, Ja Rule was known for his hits, and a lot of those hits were love songs. So when 50 made 21 Questions, I thought it was a perfect response to Ja Rule, because once again, Ja Rule can't slack off because 50's in the game and has a hit song that's doing crazy numbers. And as you can imagine, this song laid down the blueprint for other rappers too, and this would contribute in the change of the game. In an interview with Rap Radar, Drake actually said that 50 was one of the artists that inspired him to sing and to be real melodic with his music. Now another song I want to bring up is In the Club. Y'all niggas already knew I was gonna bring this song up. This song might be 50's most popular song. This song became 50's first #1 single, and it stayed #1 for 9 weeks. Those are just a couple of songs from Get Rich or Die Tryin', so it ain't no exaggeration. This is a classic album, and if you ain't ever listened to it, I highly recommend that you do. Most definitely one of my favorite hip-hop albums of all time, and my favorite album from 50, period. But yeah, if you ain't ever listened to it, go check that album out. Get Rich or Die Tryin' went #1 its first week, and it was the highest selling album of 2003, and eventually it went platinum. So yeah, bro, this is one of the biggest hip-hop albums of all time. When this album dropped, it most definitely changed the game, and as you can imagine, it influenced a lot of artists to come. J. Cole even says that he thinks this is the greatest album of all time. He even thinks that this album is better than Thriller. Now, I respect J. Cole's opinion, but I don't know if I would say it's better than Thriller. But hey, to each his own. But yeah, obviously this album became very successful. It made 50 a household name, it changed the game, and it solidified 50's name into the rap game. Now the W's keep rolling in for this nigga 50, because in that same year, he ended up establishing his own record label, G-Unit Records. Eventually, he linked up with Mark Echo to create his G-Unit clothing brand. He also signed a 5-year contract with Reebok to release G-Unit shoes. Now honestly, it was genius, because the clothes promote the music, and it only makes 50 more popular. Fast forward to 2005, 50 drops his sophomore album, The Massacre. Now this album isn't as good as Get Rich or Die Tryin', however it's still a solid project. And just like Get Rich or Die Tryin', it has some songs that's worth mentioning. Now the first song I want to mention is Piggy Bank. And nigga, Piggy Bank is my favorite song on this whole album, and it's probably 50's most controversial song on this album too. The reason why is because this song is basically a diss song to several rappers in the game, and the reason why he dissed them all is because all of these people had some type of association with Ja Rule. And you know, I might break this down in a future video, but the rappers that 50 dissed in this song were Jadakiss, Fat Joe, Shine, of course Ja Rule, Nas, and more. And no disrespect to Nas, because he's one of my goats, but that line that 50 said about him was hilarious. And I mean, all jokes aside, I get where Nas coming from. Now as you can see, 50 also dropped a music video for this song too, and the music video for it looked like ugly ass low budget PS2 game. Low key, it kinda looked like the remastered version of San Andreas. However, at this time, I thought this music video was cool, and the music video has funny depictions of all the people that 50 is dissing, and it even has funny depictions of people that he didn't even mention in the song, because there's scenes depicting Cassidy, and there's scenes depicting the rapper The Game as Mr. Potato Head, which is ironic because on the album, 50 and The Game have a song together called Hate It or Love It, which is also the other song that I wanted to mention. And nigga, I had to mention this song. It's a good ass song, and it's very nostalgic for me too. too. This song also peaked at #1 for 5 weeks, and it helped put the game on the map. Now, like I mentioned before, 50 attacked all of those niggas in Piggy Bank, and as you can imagine, they all responded, and he had beef with all of those niggas. However, this nigga was able to hold his own, and despite all the controversy that was surrounding 50 in this album, it still did great numbers. It ended up selling 1.15 million copies within the first 4 days it was released, and it became the 6th largest opening week for an album at that time. It also sold over 11 million copies worldwide. But yeah, as y'all can see, this nigga 50 was unstoppable. I mean, let's think about it. 50 went from being outshined by Ja Rule, blackballed, dropped from his label, to signing with 2 legendary artists, changing the mixtape game, dropping one of the biggest albums in rap history, getting in beefs with different rappers, including Nas, who destroyed Jay-Z with Ether. That's just my opinion. Not to mention also having successful investments. My nigga, you get what I'm saying? 50 had one of the best runs of all time. Cause bro, it just seemed like nobody could stop this nigga. However, all of that changed in 2007. Cause see, in 2007, 50 was supposed to release his album Before I Self-Destruct. However, he decided to push that back and release his album Curtis instead. The album was planned to release on September 11th of 2007. However, Kanye West, who originally planned to release his 3rd album Graduation on September 18th, had changed it to September 11th, the same day 50 was going to drop. This made both of them go head to head and compete for who could have the highest album sales. Things got even crazier when 50 said that if Kanye outsold him, he was going to retire from rap. Well, nigga, not only did Kanye outsell 50, it wasn't even close. My nigga, Graduation did crazy numbers when it dropped. Keep in mind, 50's album The Massacre had the highest sales week for an album at one point. Well, when Graduation dropped, that was no longer the case, and it ended up going double platinum. And my nigga, I witnessed it all happen. Even before those albums dropped, I knew Kanye was going to outsell 50, cause my nigga, when I heard Flashing Lights for the first time, I knew it wasn't no way in hell that nigga 50 was going to outsell Kanye. However, despite all of that, the album still did good. It debuted at #2 within its first week of being released, and the album was an okay album. It wasn't bad. However, it's safe to say that this was the end of 50's era, because rap would eventually change, and even though 50 was still releasing music at this time, he wasn't the same dominant force that he was in his prime. However, 50's career didn't stop there. We all know 50 is a businessman and has accomplished a lot of things outside of music. I mean, this nigga's behind Power and the BMF TV series. This nigga is single-handedly the only reason why I have a Star subscription. But real talk though, even though his run had to come to an end, it was still legendary to see, and I was glad I got to live through it. Like a lot of y'all who are too young to experience it, you won't understand. Y'all really had to be there. I didn't realize that I was witnessing history. So yeah, most rappers have a good run, and eventually they all come to an end. And sometimes when they come to an end, those rappers fall off the face of the earth, or struggle financially, or just unable to transition into anything else. 50 most definitely isn't one of those people. This nigga is a marketing genius. This nigga has a legendary career. This nigga got 2 video games, and he plays one of my favorite characters in Power. But yeah, shout out to 50. That nigga most definitely a legend. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much the end of my video. I know this is another long ass video just like my last video, but if you actually watched the whole thing, shout out to you. I actually been holding on to this video for a long time, and I'm happy I finally got to finish it and drop it. Now, 50 isn't the only rapper that I think has a legendary run. I'm most definitely going to talk about some other artists. Wayne is most definitely one of them, so be on the lookout for that. And also, I'm most definitely going to talk about 50 and Ja Rule's beef and other beefs that I think are legendary. But yeah, man, stay tuned for all of that. And once again, shout out to all my viewers and subscribers. I love all of y'all. These videos take a while to make, so I really do appreciate the love. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm out.